I had a dream last night. I was standing in a city street. The full moon was glowing brightly. Everything seemed to glisten. And I was standing facing an old friend that I haven't seen in a long time. We looked up to the moon and we saw a bright rainbow beside it. The colours were completely brilliant. And then there was an eclipse. The moon was covered and everything fell into absolute darkness. I embraced my friend, although I could no longer see her, and told her she looked beautiful. And she left me and walked up the street. And I stood alone in the darkness for quite some time, waiting for the eclipse to pass. And it did. The darkness lifted, and then the sun shone. It was a new day. I guess we all have dreams that feel prophetic, or that we simply were somewhere else. It wasn't just a dream. And that's what that dream felt like last night. And then when I gathered my thoughts when I woke up today, I realized that I've been dreaming of making a film, any kind of film, a short film, a documentary, my entire life. Here I am today, realizing I just have to start, because there's all the intent in the world. It means nothing if you're leaving nothing to show. I always have an excuse not to start. Not enough money. Need to lose weight first. Camera's not good enough. There's nowhere to shoot. It's too hot. It's too cold. There's no one to help me. There's too many people. Too much work, not enough work. Not sure which idea to use. Don't have any ideas. So here I go. Take this little walk with me. The hardest place to find is the beginning. And in these times, it's hard to find a place to think. And I'm not talking about our environment, although that's a barrier. It's finding the place in your mind where you can complete a thought. The sooner we accept our environment and the barrage of information we're having to take in at every moment, the better, so that we can move on and accept that within this barrage of information, we can find ourselves in the sanctuary of spirituality and understanding the oneness of who we are, which is available every living moment and every heartbeat and every breath, and that no amount of noise or other interruptions can stop that thought, that feeling. Spirit doesn't pause. I've done many things in my life, and I'm an artist and a writer and a designer. I don't know if I'm that good at any of it. I just tend to do a lot of things. But in the darkness and outside of the edges of tidy living, I've been exploring mysticism. I picked up my first book about spirituality or alternative views in the world when I was about 8 years old. And the book was called Chariots of the Gods. I was really interested at the time to read it because my mother had told me that she was reading that book when she was in labour with me. And my mother's Maltese and raised as a Roman Catholic, so it's not something she would normally have an interest in. And she still to this day thinks it's very peculiar how her reading taste changed when she was carrying me. Around that same summer, I got my first tarot deck as well. And from that time onwards, I was just wide open as a child with my spiritual experiences. I'm even more wide open now regarding spirituality as a mature woman, as a mother, I guess sort of a more experienced person, or experienced enough to know when I don't know anything, and experienced enough to know that I have a long way to go in fully grasping and understanding, because it's absolutely moving goalposts, I think. And just when I think of unlock the door, I have an epiphany and I realize something else. So I guess that's part of the fun of life, isn't it? It's a journey with no beginning or end. It's a wonderful cycle, and it's up to us to manufacture a sense of well-being and connectedness until it becomes second nature, because for reasons we don't fully understand, we leave that state of perfection to be born here on earth and have this experience in a human body and trying to remember it all, and we don't know why. We don't know why we signed up for this, especially when we find ourselves in the dark night of the soul, curled in a ball on the kitchen floor, crying as if we wished we were never born. Those are the hardest days of our lives. And I don't think many people escape those days of near-death experience through grief, your heart breaking in your chest, numbness, darkness. For whatever reason, we're here to feel it all, and also the agony of seeing others experience such things as well. All of this that I'm saying is for any person to know that we're all born on this roundabout and we get off, I believe, with a fuller heart and a deeper love for existence. And then through that love, we learn that all is one and there is only love. I am you and you are me. I am everything I can see. And this is what I know, is that I am God experiencing earth in a human body. This is absolutely how this is unfolding in our lives and what we're growing to understand. And the ancients have known this. It's written in scriptures, and we just feel it in our heart, and it's in our consciousness, and we're just trying to clear the fog and gain clarity. For some reason, it really helps. It almost dampens the pain of life sometimes, but never the joy, when we viscerally understand that we're all connected on the same network of energy. We all have our unique souls, beautiful and brilliant. And then we have this network, this grid, this energetic grid, consciousness and physicality of the world that we see constantly moving. Nothing is ever still. Nothing is ever permanent, including ourselves. And when we let go and stop trying to control that, all that is, that impermanence, perhaps joy, resides on the other side. I think it's important for as many people as possible to learn as early on in their life as they can that you don't need to go anywhere to feel spiritual, to learn about spirituality, or to touch God. You are God. God is in you. What you need is stillness. You can feel that energy coursing through your veins, that energy that just wants to explode out of us in the form of love and light. There's a certain vibration, and if we can attune to it, then we're in harmony with the earth, with each other, and then you can feel it. Even if it's a fleeting glimpse, you feel it, and everything changes on a dime. Everything can become so clear in the blink of an eye, but we have to be ready to see it. We have to be prepared to lift our head up out of the clouds, and we have to be prepared to accept we don't know everything, and accept that organized religion is nowhere near that. Organized religion offers a framework, but it's not in that house that we find God. No one's telling you that God isn't home in those places as much as God is home, coursing through your veins, inside you, your wiring, every pattern, every fiber that makes you. You are an animation of divinity. Focused breathing is enough to quickly connect us to Source in a conscious manner. We are always connected to Source unconsciously. But if we connect to Source, Source energy, God, the universe, consciously through meditation, opening the gateway for knowledge through our heart rather than our brain, we can experience a rush, a flood of new knowledge. Many people these days, ordinary people, are able to speak of divine, otherworldly, or supernatural experiences. And this is so exciting and wonderful. But for those of us who have been blessed with that experience, have a responsibility to share it and allow others to feel that maybe they too are part of this story, and that they too are part of this story in a deep way, and that they are here to support each other, and the connection and the bond is unbreakable. It's also comforting to know that connection and bond is unbreakable after we experience death. Death transitions us into the non-physical realm, where we're given the opportunity to drop a lot of ego's problems and worries, ailments and pains that our mind has perhaps perpetuated and caused, or our toxic environment, those ill feelings that have eaten us up inside all our lives, that do have the potential to eventually make us sick. And we just want to leave this place and go to the next world. We know it's there. This gives us a deep certainty that there is more. I just want you to know that you are here to discover your truest desire. What brought you here? What makes your heart sing? What are you to do? Find it. If you know it, unearth it and do it. Find a way. I think when spiritual thought leaders ask us to find joy and happiness, it's easy to say, well, yeah, that's very well for you, either on your pile of money or your unlimited resources of other kinds, or your simple life in a monastery or an ashram somewhere. But meanwhile, here I am with kids in my house, single parent, 2 jobs, relentless bills that actually exceed one's income, other family members to care for, constant barrage. But you know what? There is a balance, and that's the skill. The skill is finding a center in the tornado of our lives. And maybe there's a thrill in learning that skill. The thrill of feeling in control of yourself and your sense of interconnectedness with everything, which maybe helps slow things down to a digestible pace in this body of ours, where maybe things become more placid somehow, or maybe the playing field levels out a bit for all of us when we start thinking about each of us being plugged into the same electrical socket. It's all a game. The bills, the banking, the jobs, this, that, da, we have to do it, we have to do it, we have to do it. But if we just start learning new ways of being through listening to others, through conversation, through actively sharing silence with your inner being, and learning just to be, life changes. Life becomes something to be lived and not just something that happens.